Republicans are falling to pieces, and they know it. Listen to what Bannon said.
And I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
It's a little bit of a self-awareness that didn't exist before Mamdani won, huh? Because these people seemed to think that they're like super popular. Everybody loves what they're doing. Delusionally believed that only the only people that didn't like them or what they were up to with ICE and everything else were like far left lunatics that made up like 2% of the country. He's just now like, you know, it's just clicking in his head that he is a very unliked person, and so is Donald Trump. They know. They know they are when the time comes. When in the next election, they know they are.
They're not going to stop. They're getting more and more and more radical. And
are they in the room with us right now, Steve?
And more radical. And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action, more intense action, more urgency. We're burning daylight. If you look,
how could you possibly be more urgent as a Republican? You are fucking destroying the country in front of our eyes right now. How could you possibly get people on the right whipped into more of a blood frenzy? They are absolutely out of their gourds right now. We literally have a Gestapo roaming the streets, the military walking the streets of U.S. cities with guns. You know, we feared that Trump would institute martial law. It's here. It's here. He did it with a whimper. Everybody was worried about the line that he would cross using the Insurrection Act when he just did it. He didn't have to. Well, he did have to, but he chose not to use the Insurrection Act. He just ordered the military into the streets.
We're burning daylight. If you look across every aspect of this, we have to codify what President Trump has done by executive order, right?
We have to codify it. That means he wants to get Congress to sign this stuff into law.
We have to codify it. And people say, well, they're just going to be messing bills and pass Senate. We got to put aside these structural barriers and get on with it.
And what he means when he says put aside these structural barriers is ignore the Constitution, ignore the rule of law, ignore any guidelines or bureaucracy or values or institutions that exist to protect the United States from a fascist takeover. Ignore them in favor of a fascist takeover. That's what he means. But I'm a little happier today than I was the day before Mamdani won his election, because I can now clearly see something that I already strongly suspected, nay, knew, that Republicans have pushed it so far at this point that there is no coming back for them. They aren't going to win another election for the foreseeable future. In one man's humble opinion, I believe they're going to be voted out everywhere across the country. They are and that goes for ICE too. It's a matter of time before these people, ICE and others, Bannon, realize that Trump can't protect them forever. In fact, he can't protect them beyond the next 2 years, maybe the next 12 months, maybe, but certainly not after 3 years when he's going to be out of office. He's old as sin. He's on his last leg as it stands. Even if he did try to run for 2028, he's too old. He's almost in his 80s now. How old is Elon Musk? Is he 50? He's got 30 years to go, maybe longer. How old is Pam Bondi? Was she like 30? She's got 50 years on this planet. How long does Trump have? Maybe 5, I would guess, in the next 5 years. I don't see a scenario in which Bannon, Pam Bondi, Elon Musk, Peter Navarro, or any of these, anybody from ICE, anybody survives out of jail after Trump leaves office. And once they realize that, they're going to turn on him. The reason I say that with so much confidence is because we're already seeing it happen. What have you seen from Marjorie Taylor Greene lately? She turned on him. She knows what's coming, and she doesn't want to be on the wrong side of it when it happens for no reason. Steve Bannon, Trump, Pam Bondi, they had their opportunity. They had their shot at power, and it's going to last this very small sliver of time, and then you are f***ed. There's more. It's not just what I'm saying isn't just based on Steve Bannon. There's more. Keep listening.
President Trump today gave to the Senate when they came over for breakfast. Even Lindsey Graham, some of the guys he liked, and some of these institutions, I understand this is a very tough decision to make. And you're going to see some people in the conservative movement that not in a million years, because I talked to him today, quite frankly, I had Hawley on the show this morning, Josh Hawley, and he's talking about it. And I'm trying to play the institution. Well, they called me up this afternoon and said, let's go through the 10 reasons we need to do it. And these are heavy hitters on what I would call the constitutional, the limited government constitutionalist in our movement.
What he's saying is he wants to push bills through he doesn't want to rule by executive order. He wants to force all of these changes through bills. Nothing's going to save you, Steve. Nothing. Nothing is going to save you from accountability. You can push through as many bills as you want. You are f***ed. And so are the rest of the Republicans. They are f***ed.
And they're about to come out over the next couple of days and make this argument because he said, look, we have to understand that if we don't take this to the maximum, a maximalist strategy now with a sense of urgency, and in doing this, seize the institutions, if we don't do that now, we're going to lose this chance forever. Because
you're going to lose the chance forever. There's nothing that he could possibly do or any of these people could do that could prevent what's going to happen. The reason that there are not riots in the streets right now and people aren't banging down the door of the filthy rich is because elections still exist. If that goes away, things change. So that was Steve Bannon's reaction to the election, admitting openly that he knows that he's going to jail when this is all said and done. He knows that. And this is the Speaker of the House's reaction.
I told him this morning what we've talked about many times and what I've said here before. The president is on the ballot in 2026. President Trump is on the ballot next fall. Because if we lose the majority, if the Republicans, the common sense people here who are doing the job for the American people, if we lose the majority in the House and this radical element of the Democratic Party were able to take over.
Radical element, quote unquote. I can't believe nobody has said this to his face yet, but you are the radical element in the country, Mike. You are the problem. You are the outlier, the extremist. You are the issue that's going to be removed from power. And he's correct. Yes, in 2026, I suspected this within a month of Trump taking office. There's nothing that could stop a blue wave from happening in 2026. Nothing. I suspected that was going to happen and Trump is going to be impeached and removed by force. I mean, we've seen a lot of talk and then nothing happens. No action. Nobody does anything. They're all like, oh my God, look at what's happening. What do we do? I think that is over. Honestly, I really do. I think that the people that matter, that keep these institutions in place, are going to be in the right place at the right time when Trump is impeached and removed from power. And he's going to have to leave. He's going to be forced out, in my opinion. We'll see, but I'm very confident of it. Either way, when Trump is removed from power, like, what do you think happens? Nancy Pelosi takes power? Of course not. It's going to be J.D. Vance. So they're still going to have the presidency, but they're not going to have the cult level of support anymore. That is going to be extremely important.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
We've already seen that movie. They will try to end the Trump administration. He won't have 4 years. He'll have only 2.
Absolutely.
Because they will move to impeach him probably on the first day of the new Congress in January 2027, and they will try to systematically unwind all the important reforms that we've done for the American people.
Important reforms we've done for the American people. What important reforms do you think you've done delusionally? They've done nothing but destroy the country.
Lower cost to have a better quality of living.
Lower costs? I'm sorry. If there's a Trump supporter out there listening, you can't possibly believe that Trump lowered costs, right? Gas prices are higher today than when Trump took office. Grocery prices are higher today than when Trump took office. That's just what it is. Look it up.
On healthcare to increase access and quality of care. We are the party that is doing that, and the president needs 4 years to complete his agenda, not just 2. So he is in a very real sense on the ballot.
You know what Mike just said there? That whole thing, he's reframing what this movement is all about. What's the movement really about? Getting brown people out of the country. That's what it's all about. For Mike Johnson, for Trump, for Vance, for all of them. Oh, that's another person that's J.D. Vance. He's pretty young. You guys want to bet on how long it's going to take before he goes to federal prison for the rest of his fucking life? It's going to happen. Mark my words. It will happen. Anyway, the whole movement was about immigration, right? What happened to that? Suddenly it's about prices? Since when? They raised taxes on the lower and middle class through tariffs. What do you mean it's about lowering prices? What are you smoking?
Fiercely committed to us winning. He is going to help. He's offered to do rallies and the teletown halls and all the things. He's sent out a huge round of endorsements of incumbents, Republican incumbents. So
he's talking about Trump, right? The people that Trump endorsed were hurt in the elections. They performed negatively in the elections. Trump is toxic now. He is toxic. You don't want to be associated with Trump anymore in politics. It's flipped.
Just over the last few days, he is very much engaged, very dialed in, and he understands the stakes. President Trump is on the ballot in 2026.
Anyway, they know. Mike Johnson knows. Steve Bannon knows. And this guy, Jason Rapert, he knows too. Talked about this on another video recently, this specific video, but I want to play it again. By the way, Rapert, what a name, right? A last name, R-A-P-E-R-T. You know how some people, they're named after like the thing that they did, Tyler, Mason, or Anders' son, the son of Ander, or whatever. What do you think Jason Rapert's family did to earn that last name? Listen to this.
We now have in our country, in Minnesota, in New York, and in Virginia, you elected Islamists, communists.
No and no to both of those. There are no Islamist communists in government in the United States. There are no communists in government in the United States. There aren't any Islamists in government in the U.S. This is just delusion. Mamdani is not an Islamist or a communist, but okay.
Anti-Semites.
Nope.
People that believe exactly what Hitler believed.
You think that Mamdani believed what Hitler believed? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He's referring to his political opponents as Nazis here, right? Didn't Trump say something about how wrong that is to call people Nazis? And this is just complete unadulterated delusion anyway.
We elected, these areas elected these people to public office. And it's beyond belief that we've done it. You've got to stand up. You've got to do something. I'm begging and I'm pleading with you.
They're panicking because they know what's coming. They're panicking because they know there's a blue wave coming that can't be stopped. And when that blue wave comes in, the fire in our souls will not be quelled. These people are going to go to federal prison for the rest of their fucking lives. They are absolutely disgusting human beings. The shit that they say and do, the shit that they have justified. This guy specifically is a Christian nationalist who is a stochastic terrorist who says Joe Biden should be taken out, quote unquote. When he was in office, he said that. Face no repercussions, of course, for that kind of shit. These people are vile and will face accountability. Fascinatingly, I actually said something like that on my community posts the other day. I basically said, when Dems take control again, which they will, we can't worry about unifying over accountability. We must make people face accountability for what they've done. Because even if we did give them grace and pardon them for what they did, I'm talking Steve Bannon and others, they wouldn't understand the significance or importance of it. Because they don't seem to think they've done anything wrong. It would accomplish nothing but showing people they can commit crimes and get away with it. We should have been harder on the slave owners after the Civil War as well. We shouldn't have gone so hard on unity. We should have forced them to face accountability. It would accomplish nothing but showing people they can commit crimes, get away with it. Steve Bannon, Elon Musk, Pam Bondi, Peter Navarro, every single ICE agent who participated in criminal activity, and others must go to federal prison for the rest of their lives. No exceptions, no unity. They must understand that there are consequences for their actions. While we're at it, we'll need to teach a paradox of intolerance in schools. Anyway, I got some absolutely wild responses on here, like you wouldn't even believe it. Let me just scroll to the bottom, see if I can find some doozies. Do you really not understand how this post is deeply disturbing, says this person? I said, yes, I hope it disturbs the shit out of neo-Nazis, members of ICE, and others. I specifically, explicitly said people who committed crimes, participated in criminal activity. No, we need to stop going tit for tat. That's how we got to where we are now. I said criminals must pay for their crimes. Here's the reality. If an ordinary person is caught speeding and won't voluntarily get out of the car when asked by police, they drag that person out, cuff them, and take them to jail. Trump attacks the Capitol with a violent mob, uses intimidation and fraud to try to steal the 2020 election, and steals boxes of classified documents, hides them and refuses to give them back, and gets reelected by racist, gullible fools. There's been zero accountability. Yeah, absolutely. But there will be moving forward. Mark my words, there will be accountability moving forward. Very anti-democratic. I said destroying democracy equals charging criminals. Very anti-democratic of me to charge criminals with crimes. Yes, very anti-democratic. Totally. Owen wants a civil war so badly he can't help himself, says this poor dumb fool. Are you serious right now? What in what I said read to you civil war? These people are straight up delusional, dude. The vast majority of my community posts are like supportive and on point, and, you know, I mean, in the comment section, they get it or whatever. But I get some real nutcases down there from time to time, and it's like deeply entertaining to read through some of the crazy shit that they say. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally, so it would mean a lot if you signed up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that. Okay, precisely what crimes did Elon or any of these just rich associates or media personalities commit, not just for being shitty people and having bad politics causing damage? What did they specifically do besides just work for the Trump administration, who the Supreme Court has already ruled about presidential acts, so anything Trump has done is at this time considered immunity, period. What did he do? Here, no need to wonder, just loaded up our question gun, let's go answer hunting. Here you go, here are just a few items on the list of crimes that Elon Musk has committed. Hatch Act violations. Employment lawyers contend Musk violated the Hatch Act when he wore a Make America Great Again hat while performing official duties in the Oval Office during an executive order signing. Privacy violations. Legal experts argue Musk's Doge team violated the Privacy Act of 1974 by accessing and disclosing personal data from Treasury Department systems without authorization. Federal employee unions sued, claiming the administration breached privacy protections by allowing Doge affiliates access to restricted government IT systems. Conflicts of interest. Musk companies were under investigation by at least 11 federal agencies, yet he directed funding and staffing decisions at many of those same agencies through Doge. Multiple state attorneys general have sued, alleging Musk violated the appointments clause by exercising authority as a principal officer without Senate confirmation or congressional approval. Those are just a few laws that he violated. There's another really big one that I'm searching for here. Give me a second. Yes, I found it. Here you go. This is one of the biggest disturbing moments. This should seal the deal for Elon Musk going to federal prison for the rest of his fucking life right here. In the minutes after Doge accessed the NLRB's systems, someone with a Russian IP address started trying to log in using one of the newly created Doge accounts with the correct username and password. The login attempts were blocked, but whoever was attempting to log in was using a correct username and password for one of the newly created Doge accounts, but they couldn't access it because IP addresses outside of the United States are restricted from accessing certain government systems. Elon Musk, presumably, provided a username and password to private U.S. government systems to Russian operatives, who then tried to use it. According to Krebs on Security, which is like a security thing, Daniel J. Barulis was the whistleblower, a 38-year-old security architect at the NLRB, and he made these allegations on April 14th in a letter sent to the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. Former White House cyber official Jake Braun said that any chief information security officer worth his salt would look at network activity like this and assume it's a nation-state attack from China or Russia. The NLRB has multiple ongoing cases involving Musk and his companies, including SpaceX and Tesla, creating a significant conflict of interest. So there you go. What crime did Elon Musk commit? I've listed a billion of them, but that one where he almost certainly gave private access to U.S. government systems to Russian operatives, that one is pretty far up there. That is treason territory. That's definitely treason, right? clearest cut case of treason in my mind. Although Russia isn't actually at war with the US technically, so the point is that these people are going to pay for their crimes. They're absolutely going to pay for their crimes. They will. And I'm sorry for the 30% of the country that doesn't seem to think they did anything wrong, but they did. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Absolutely wild.